Hi guys, how are you doing today? I believe you're doing great. If you're just meeting me, my name is Samuel. Please hit the subscribe button so I can get amazing content when I release them. If you're that type of person that lets other people's opinion, if you rely greatly on what people are going to say before taking an action or taking any action, then this video is for you because you're going to learn a lot today. A few days ago, I was studying the scriptures in Luke chapter 11, verse 37, and I saw something that stood out, something that Jesus did that I believe I should share that most people are going to learn from. You see, there are people who have stopped chasing their dreams because of other people's opinion, what their family members are going to say, what their friends are going to say, what people are going to think of them. They are seeking people's acceptance, and that has robbed them of their dreams. So I want to share something that will make you think twice before thinking what other people are going to say about you, instead of going forward and chasing your dream, instead of taking that action. So here is what I'm going to share. In Luke chapter 11 verse 37, Luke chapter 11 verse 37, I'm reading the Message translation, so it might be a bit different. Luke 11 verse 37. When Jesus finished that talk, a Pharisee asked him to dinner. He entered his house and sat right down at the table. The Pharisee was shocked and somewhat offended when he saw that Jesus did not wash before the meal. Let me pause here for a minute. So you know the story. The Pharisees were religious people. They obeyed the law. They were not joking with the law. And part of what they believed was that before eating a meal, maybe it is eba, yam, rice and anything, before eating any of your meal, you need to wash your hand thoroughly before eating that meal. And Jesus knew this. It wasn't as if he did not know. He knew this. And then when he got to the house of the Pharisee, instead of respecting their beliefs, I know a lot of people would say, when somebody great invites you, you should respect their beliefs and do what they expect you to do. But Jesus was not like that. He did not fake himself. He did not fake who he was. So when he got to their house, he started eating without washing his hands. And the Pharisees were offended. People who were watching were offended. I invited you to my house, right? Why are you're not respecting my beliefs? And what Jesus said will surprise you. Look at what he said. I know you Pharisees buff the surface of your cups and plates so they sparkle in the sun, but I also know your insides are maggoty with greed and secret evil. Man, that I invite you to my house, you're insulting me, telling me that my inside is maggoty and filled with secret evil. This is Jesus, not someone else. This is Jesus who should respect people who came to represent the Father, God the Father, and he's insulting me for inviting him to my house. Now there's a point I want you to note here. The first thing is Jesus was being authentic. He did not, because of the invitation, he didn't let that stop him from being who he is. And that this singular act, this singular quality, this quality is what has stopped people from becoming successful. You are afraid of what your family members are going to think of you. You are afraid of what the society is going to think of you, and it has stopped you from taking action. A lot of people have hidden talents, but because of the fear of what people will think of them, it has stopped them from becoming successful. You can sing, you can act, you are funny, you're a comedian, you have interest in fashion, but you are letting people's opinions stop you. And Jesus was not like this. No wonder he was successful. No wonder he was successful, because he was being himself. He was being authentic. Everywhere you meet with Jesus, he is himself. So he didn't even let, because of the position or the connection, because he knew a Pharisee, to stop him from being his real self. I want to tell you today, that you should stop thinking about what people will think of you and take that action. There are many successful people today who became successful by being themselves. Do you know what? It is very difficult to pretend to be somebody who you are not than to be yourself. And that is why it has been difficult for you to be successful, because you're pretending to be somebody who you are not. You take a job, a role, you know very well that this is not for you. You take a position, you know very well that this is not for you. And why your real self, your real talent is crying out, is begging you to let it show forth. But you are stopping yourself from coming out. God is speaking to someone today. God is speaking to somebody today that enough of pretense, enough of pretending. Let that real you show forth. Let that medical personnel show forth. Let that person who cares about people show forth. Let that success coach show forth. Let that counselor show forth. Let that singer show forth. Stop hiding that talent. As I'm speaking to you now, I know your mind will begin to think of people who became successful, who really became successful by being themselves. So what is stopping you? What is stopping you? I need you to go back and let your real self come forth. Yes, let your real self come forth. Let your real self come forth. This is Jesus, showing us an example of how to be successful by not letting things, by not pretending, by just being ourselves. Yes, I know I'm speaking to somebody, and I know God is speaking to you. What is that thing? What is that thing? What is that thing? What is that thing? Let it out. The world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for the real you, not your photocopy. Yes, the world is waiting for the real you. Imagine where you would be if you allow the real self come forth. And please, I'm speaking to you today. Now you have to be authentic. You don't have to fake anything. You just have to be yourself. Thank you so much for listening. I believe you've learned one or two things. Please click on the subscribe button. Drop your comments. I want to hear them. Thank you for today. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.